So I'm gonna do a quick video, a little short video, if that's believable or not for me to do a short video. I'm gonna do a little quick video on how I go about getting chonks from anthuriums. Now you may do it differently, or you may know somebody who does it differently, or whatever. This is not like the way that you have to do it, but this is what I prefer to do, because I don't like cutting up things that I don't know are going to be successful. I don't like the risk. So I've already taken, this is an Anthurium laconum, and I have already taken it out of the pot, and I'm just trying to very carefully break all these roots up so that that way I can get to the base of the chunk, because the base of this stem chunk is way down here. So this is a big one. I mean, it's down in there. I don't know how well you can see this. Lots of roots, lots of nice healthy roots too. So it was having a really hard time acclimating. I ultimately cut all the leaves off, and sometimes I have found with anthuriums that if you literally cut them all the way down and just force them to start completely over in their new environment, that they will ultimately acclimate better. And I've done that with quite a few, with Rare Anthuriums, Warquenums, crystallinums, all of those. So I just gotta sit here and work for a bit and try and get these roots to loosen up, because this bad boy was root bound. Which is not necessarily a problem, because they kind of like tight pots. All right, there. Now we are in here. So you can see, I'll show you. There. You can see how long this stem section of this is. So what I do when I am making chunks out of anthuriums is I don't like to make a cut unless I see an auxiliary bud already there. Now it's always, you know, if there's a node, there's roots, then there's a growth point and whatever. But you know what? I see a lot of stories where people lost their chunks. They didn't get it to grow. It just sat there and rotted. So like I said, I prefer not to risk it. So I'm going to try my best to show you what I'm talking about when I say auxiliary buds. And if they are activated auxiliary buds, even better. All right, so right here, see if I can get this to focus. Right there, that part coming up. I'm doing this on the self-facing camera, and it doesn't want to focus super great, but this part right here, you can kind of see like it almost looks like a root, but it isn't. That is an activated bud. So if I cut just above that, that section will already have roots and an activated growth point. So it's almost guaranteed that it's going to grow and it's going to produce a plant. So I am very carefully going to try to untangle the roots to that one. Oh wow, there's another growth point further down. Here we go. We're getting to them. Okay, so I'm gonna make my cut. Let me check this back side. There's another little bud. Ooh, this is gonna be a tricky cut, you guys. This is gonna be a tricky cut, but I've done tricky cuts, so. All right. I gotta get this stuff as untangled as possible, because I'm trying to keep as many rooted sections as possible. Ensure success. That is how you don't fail. All right, so I tried to show you in between here. All right, so here is the one activated bud. And if you can see, probably not, here is another one. It's really small, but it's right there. Looks like a little triangle. I am gonna take pictures and post pictures of these with it, just so you can see them. But I am going to try to cut in between those two points, which is going to be tricky. I'm probably gonna have to make my cut at a diagonal so that way I can miss one and not the other. All right. I'm gonna try to spare as many roots as possible. And if I take out a root, it happens. All right, so there's the first cut. Now, this section here, this small section right here, it has that one, and then there is another one right here. See that little triangle? That's how you can kind of tell they look like little triangles, whereas the roots look like little knobs when they're first coming out. The active buds look like little triangles. So now I'm gonna try to cut between this one and this one, and it's doable. Just gotta take your time and look for the best place to cut. All right, now when I tell you carefully, y'all, I mean carefully. You see that? There is the bud right there, and I literally cut right up next to it, but I did not nick the bud. So it should still be okay. Fingers crossed, because that is a very close one. But it should be okay. It's got lots and lots of healthy roots there. Okay, so there's one. Where'd the other one go? It fell. Here is the other one, and it's got that nice big active bud right there and lots of roots. Now we're gonna go up. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, there is a section in here that I'm not 100% on, and this upper part has a few auxiliary buds on it. So I want to try and make sure that I definitely save this upper part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut down here in the area where I'm a little unsure of. Yep. All right, like that. All right, so we have this piece. Now this piece does have some auxiliary bud points, but there aren't any that are activated, which means like currently producing a bud. So this one will be a little bit sketchy. I'll plant it loose because there's one right there. It's a little tiny, you're not gonna be able to see that little tiny triangle right there, but it's not bright green. So we'll see what happens. This one's a maybe. Now, this is my top section. I will leave this. I am not gonna cut this more. There is an active bud here. There is an active bud here. There is an active one right down here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. There's another one, 4. So there is 5. There's 4 or 5, because I'm not sure if I'm counting them twice. There are 4 or 5 active buds on this one. So I will now plant this by itself. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 already rooted chunks, whatever. So I will, I'll pot these all up in a mixture of sphagnum and orchid bark and put them down. I like to put, after I make these cuts like this, I like to put them down underneath one of the benches. Lower light, nice cool temperatures right now in the summertime, and just wait for new growth. Now I just recently did this with a clarinervium, and I'll grab these from down here and show you. You can see there's the new growth, and you can see in the cup, see, it was just this tiny chunk. And it was already rooted. It had an active growth point. As soon as it was on its own, that auxiliary bud took off. Same with this one. This one actually, 2 buds took off. So there's that one and this one. Same thing. This piece of chonk right here, oh, there's another bud down there that's activating too. This piece of chonk is this big, but it's rooted and it already had auxiliary buds. If you buy if you buy or try to grow a chonk that's this big with no roots on it, chances are you're not going to succeed. Now you might, like, it happens. I've done it before. It happens. I've got some varicosum stem cuttings that are this big and they're doing fine, but it's just a little riskier, you know, especially if you're spending money. So just a little root, one little root, that'll do it. So roots and auxiliary buds, that's what you want. So So, all right, well, that's it. I'm gonna take some close-up pictures of these auxiliary buds on these cuttings so that way you can see what they look like. And this video turned out longer than I thought it would. Bye.